It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be
forward.
like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex
Corrupt
and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
Hi everyone, my name is Lishay Carlson, 22 years of age, and I'm an editor for Street Talk TV.
I'm Rushanda Pesco. I'm the chairperson of the Menenberg Safety Forum. I'm an activist against crime and violence on the Cape Flats.
My name is Yasin Johar, 29 years old. I'm jointly coordinating the Hanover Park camp.
My name is Murida Dean. I'm the director of an organization called Use of Quietness, and I specialize in victim support because I've been volunteering at SAPS for 22 years.
Gang violence, I experience it daily, we experience it daily, sometimes right in front of us, and other times just around the corner. But to live in a situation hearing gunshots the whole day, we became norm. It became a norm because okay, just again another few shots. But at the end of the day, these kids, these youth that is being so traumatized when they hear the shots, they are basically jumping on the floor, going in a state of trauma, and not even that is being addressed where we're getting the appropriate or the necessary people to step in and assist. Like I say, there is those on the ground doing phenomenal work, but our hands are tied to do much more than what is needed.
Yasin has put it out there so beautifully. The gang violence is so rife. It's like he says, you go out and you don't know if you're going to return home. The sad thing is that our children are suffering. There's nothing at home. They don't have food to eat. They don't have a decent pair of shoes or a decent pants to put on. And here this gangster comes and offers them something. And that is where they go down the wrong road. Our justice system sucks. It stinks. I don't know how we're going to get it right, but something needs to be done. I personally have some level of respect with these guys because of being at SAPS and doing victim support. So if you come in and you're traumatized or you're broken or you're in a state, I'm the person you're going to see. So people sort of seem to latch on to me, and you know what? Die auntie gaan ons help. But die auntie kan net a certain distance gaan. Because if the violence start and the shooting start, I can't be with them. So it is terrible, guys. We need to work out a plan for the way forward. Because it is just not Hanover Park, it is just not Menenberg, it is just not Lavendale. It is all over the show.
I hear what you say, Ms. Murida, because I'm from Elsie's River, and there's the gunshots almost every weekend beside us. It's like the norm, like Yasin said, it's like the norm in our neighborhoods. It's something that we're already used to. People don't even run in their houses sometimes. People run outside to go check out the action. That's how busy our people is on the side. But yeah, and I don't think like that we'll be able to, I don't know, I think it's a thing with us brown people, like us coloreds. We want to make a change, but then it's also like it's hard for us to kind of like come together and stay together, if that makes sense. Because with other people, the other cultures and stuff, they always come together if they want to fight for a certain thing. But with us, it will be kind of like separate type of thing. Everyone wants to do their own. So I think that's also a problem that we need to sort out and solve amongst ourselves. Also, I wanted to ask why do you think the gang violence is that bad? Like, what is the solution also, if you can think of why is it so bad even during this pandemic?
The pandemic have created a greater platform for crime and violence. That is one aspect for me. The other for me, how can we address it now? I'm a crazy person. And for one, and you are so right, especially amongst our colored people, we must call a spade a spade. That people are not uniting. Now, I have this conversation over and over with my children. We have this engagements because they are young and I'm a bit older, so it's different time spaces we grew up in, and I like to understand where the youth of today is coming from and where I'm at.
Mm.
So I posted, I think now the other day, I said, listen, for one, the government is you and me. But do our colored people know that? Remember, our colored people come from a history of fear that was instilled in them and are still being manipulated. People are not here emancipated. They do not know the power that they have. So what is our leaders of today, gangs, NGOs, everybody, even myself, maybe knowingly, maybe unknowingly, we all prey on that fear. Because when a person gets a red letter, the red letter is not stating you're going to be evicted. The red letter is stating, if you are not going to come and make arrangements, that can be the result. This is our colored people. Hoe fok ek gaat uitgesit raak? Oeh, ja, na phone van die ding is, leen gou raar uit R1000, laat ek dit net kan betaal. That is how fear is instilled in our people. And they haven't been taught how to move beyond that point of fear. Their whole life is on that. For them, comfortability is not the peace, birds singing, and all of that. They don't want to wake up in that silence. They know they are used to the taxi blaring. My neighbor, and may God be with her. She's passed on today. I moved into that road specifically in Menenberg, Pietershoek. And I can tell you, I've never liked it in Menenberg. That road was just putting me off. And here I became a resident in that road. Now imagine at that time, my neighbor were one of the, as you call it, the smokkelhuise. And here I come with a different mentality, totally different. So the one time I argued with her and said, listen, this is your business, but don't let your business come and disturb my peace. You know what the position is that all my neighbors do. Does this thing think she lives in Sea Point? In Sea Point, you can go and make these demands, not here. So they do not even see themselves in that position of having that comfortability, having that peace. Their minds are made up. We are on this side of the road because it's good for us. We should be like that. And that is what I'm talking about. There can't be just a one fixed solution. This solution is a multi-point prong approach from all government departments, from every citizen in this country. And the citizens must get into their minds. It's not about just going to make a cross when it's election time. You are the government. You have appointed those people in office. So stop being sheep and follow. Start engaging. Keep them accountable when they come. And when a councillor comes to have a meeting, it's not about the councillor coming to tell you. It's coming to report to you as a citizen of this country. And so the report must be interrogated. It must be questioned. And that is what our people do not understand.
You know, for me personally, growing up, it is difficult to look at things the way it should be because you are affected by what has happened, you know, post-apartheid and so forth. So that challenge is already there. But don't think you know, to label it according to specific colors, you know, it's going to solve it. But yes, there's many things that we need to improve on and do. But you know, I think the system and the apartheid system has put us on the back foot and has been unselfish with regards to how we establish ourselves. Because first of all, moving forward and looking at crime and gang violence and improving that issue, I don't think it's backed on color, but also remember if you look at where they put out all those in District 6 and those in Salt River and the Group Areas Act coming in place. They placed people in areas that were belittled, places that had a stone smell alongside the highways, and subconsciously all those is add-ons to with regards to progression, And if you're looking into our communities on the Cape Flats, every community on the Cape Flats needs to have a school, not maybe exactly like today's Model C school, but a school that can actually motivate, that can actually grow a child, but not allow the child to go into the direction where going into gangsterism. Because I can rest assured, not every gangster wanted to be a gangster, and not every mother of a gangster wanted her child or father wanted his child to be a gangster. But because of conditions and backgrounds and broken homes, and not to justify the actions, not at all. There's definitely things that can improve, things that have an effect on our youth today. And if at the end of the day it boils down to how many gang members is being shot daily. We're looking at Hanover Park, we're looking at other communities. I can only speak on Belvedere Park. But if you look at that and then you go back, you take a step back and you look at how much is being recruited. And there's always that huge amount, because say if 10 people die today, tomorrow 20 youngsters get recruited, because there's some sort of belonging, there's some sort of love that is coming from those gangs. But and I'm also sure that even every gangster don't want their child to be a gangster, to make the wrong choices that they made. They actually want their child to succeed in life, to become your doctors, to become your lawyers, to become something. So we need to focus on, number one, the education, the schooling process. We need to invest in our schools. We need to make sure that our schools on the Cape Flats is elevated in a way that our children can become something in life, and not say it's the colors and it's this. And at the end of the day, we all have a light and we all have a shine within us, and we don't need to take others' light and shine in order to make us shine, but we have a shine within ourselves that is very bright. So with regards, coming back to your question, finding a solution into the gangsterism issue, I think that's rooted there from the beginning, going back to the basics. If we're going to wait for government, we're going to wait forever. Probably going to wait till another pandemic comes out. But I think we start now, and I think we need to clear our mind of certain mentalities and certain ways, and looking at complaints, but also looking at ways that we can use to move forward, opportunities, because likewise, there's in the townships, they do have their struggles. In middle class communities, they do have their struggles, but it's for us to join and hold hands, to look at each individual as human beings before color, and saying, look, we all struggle. How can I assist you with your struggles, and how can you assist me? Because the things that is in the media portrayed is not maybe the truest reflection, especially of Hanover Park. But come to Hanover Park, you would have the best people. You would have neighbors that is actually very good people. You have a community that is very well oriented, but because of certain challenges, especially where the shooting and the gang violence is concerned, that makes things a bit awkward. But we have a very amazing community.
My dream is for us colored communities to all stand together.
My dream is to kick off the House of Hope.
My dream is to see our youth prosper a lot.
My dream is to have unity within our areas. With unity, we can't go wrong.